Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today I'm going to be doing extra big, ginormous, massive, gargantuan day. We're doing the 1/6 scale of the Deagostini Collectibles release and build the Ford Mustang Shelby GT500. Now I am going to be continuing with the engine today, absolutely massive engine, you're going to see this, and I will try and use my head, or this head, to put it in some sort of scale for you so you can see actually how big this is. Now, I've been in this workshop for about 4 years and I was getting really fed up for the last week or so because the amount of colour depths that keep changing, shadows keep changing and all that, and unfortunately I found the best way to combat a lot of those problems is to move my light. So this light now is in shot. Normally this is out of shot, and I'm hoping it's going to light this area up a little bit better, and it will stop the white balances going all out. Sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it's all over the place. So I'm going to experiment with this for a little while, but I kind of like where it is at the moment. I know it probably doesn't visually look good, but believe me, on here it's going to look a lot better. As I said, we are doing the engine today. If you want to get this for yourself, I'll put a link in the video description, and there's also that QR code on the screen. But without further ado, let's get cracking. Okay, so we've got quite short stages to start off with. Stage 94. Here's the magazine. As you see, we've got the right side of the engine block and a little bit here to go on, which is the, what is that? It's the gas filter. It says fuel filter, I guess. Going on the side just like that. And this is the rest of the magazine. So let's do this ultra quick stage. Now I could have split up all of these stages and put them together, but I am still learning DaVinci Resolve, which is new editing software. So I need to be able to make as many edits as I possibly can, just to get practice and training for that. So that's why I'm keeping these separate stages today, even though they are very much tiny. Okay, so we're going to be putting this into place. So holding this way round, this is going to go just on this point here. Now we do have a locating lug which goes through the hole, just like that, which now enables me to put a PS20 screw in here. Obviously we don't need PH0 screwdrivers on this build, things are far too big for that. Get this screwed in. Perfect, and that's the end of that stage. This is metal, just so you know, so you can imagine how heavy this is. So moving on to the next ultra quick stage, stage 95, and we've got some manifold here, we've got the dipstick here, we're going to be putting that on what we just created there, into place, just like that. And again, here is the rest of the magazine. 2 days of quite big builds by the look of it. Obviously I meant quite quick builds, not big builds. It's because I've got big and enormous on the mind at the moment of how big this is actually today. So to start off with, we're going to need this manifold here in the engine block that we just created, and we're going to have it this way round. Now this is going to be going into the holes that we can see just there. So it goes in this way, probably best on the top camera, just like that. We also would need to make sure that we are using the right one. There's an L on this one, so I have got the right one in place. I've got some flanged PS28 screws here, which are just going to go into the holes here. That's going to hold that manifold into place. And there we go, that's in place there. Put that to one side, and I want to bring over the engine block from stage 93, and I'm going to be putting the manifold in this side now. That's just going to be going in this way here, just like that. Once again, held in with these flange screws. And then the last thing to do on this side is we've got the tab here for this dipstick to go in. So I'm just going to push that into the hole. It looks like it can only really fit in one way. Now it actually goes off in this direction up here. So I'm just going to push this in. But it should look like that when it's in. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Okay, things are going to get a little bit busier now. This is going to be stage 96. It is 96. We've got these parts here to go on. Putting that on just like this. And that's how that's looking at the end. Really coming along, making a whole engine block now. And there you go. It is funny, every time I open one of these packs, I am constantly struck by how heavy they are, because I forget how big some of these metal parts are. But just put that to one side, I will open these screws up. These are PS 02 screws. So I need the right side engine block, the one with a dipstick in it. And I've got the oil filter here, which has already got all the decals on, as you can see there. And the way we want to put this in, probably best on the top camera, is this way around. We're just going to slip this on this lip here, just like that. So that's what it looks like from that side. And that is what it looks like from this side here. Now I need the engine front that we did in the last pack. Do you remember this with all the belts on and stuff like that? I'm going to be putting that on into the slots just here. So this is going to be going on like this, just slotting it in. It does take a little bit of pushing this one, but I do want this to fit square on here. There we go, that's in position. I'll just put that to one side. Bring over these new parts that we've just got here, and I'm going to want to put this plastic section here on top of this here. This looks like part of the bell housing. And then holding that just with my hand at the moment, I want to take this part of the engine and I want to put this slot here into the groove of this bell housing. Then these smaller lugs here are going to go through those holes there. So it goes in kind of like this. Line up that slot first, push that in, and what it will do, it will line up the rest of the stuff just here, as you can see on the top camera, like that. Now in stage 93 we had this bracket here, we need that now. Now the bracket is going to go onto this section just at the top here, just like that, making sure that this section here is pointing that way. And then we're going to be piecing this together by putting this other side on here, making sure again that these grooves in the side go down the slots here and here. So it's just a case of lining everything up. Whoops, that's fallen off, that's not good. And just jiggle this into place. Now of course, right at the start of this build, I was meant to put this part in, because I completely forgot. That's typical of me. It goes on the bottom of the filter here, just like that, and it's held in with one of these screws. Can I get one of these screws in, even though this is on here? Let's have a go. And the answer is yes, I can. So that was a save. I've got a gap on this side at the moment that I'm trying to just rectify by pushing this in, so bear with me. And there you go, that's a lot better. Okay. We haven't actually screwed anything in at the moment, but that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 97, this is the penultimate stage of this pack. We've got some pipe work to put in, and it looks like the oil sump. Getting all of this into place here. So this is now how the engine's looking. Pretty impressive. We're actually putting this top part on as well. If you remember when we created this, looking good. This is the rest of the magazine. And here is the big old oil pan. And the first thing I want is we're going to be creating the filler tube. So for that, it does mean that I've got to take this end here, push this on the end like that. Bringing over what I just showed you over here, next to the distributor, that's where this is going to be going. It has got a certain shaped hole, so it can only go in one way. Just keep rotating it and it will go into the position there. I do want to hold that in with a PS02 screw, just from the underside here. Perfect. Then I've got a pressure sensor here. The thicker end is going to go into this hole just here. Quite a hard one to get in, that is. Once again, that's held in with a PS02 screw as well. So now that's how that looks. I've got a semicircular hole just on this side for a cap. I've just noticed one of my leads has come out, so let me just put that back in. And you know me, if something comes out, I'm gluing it in. Right, let's bring the engine over. And I want to put this on top just here. And this is where I've realised I've made a mistake. This tab here needs to be facing the other way. Ugh. Okay. goes in that way. Right, that's better. I'll put this together again, because we're about to put this on top now, and this is going to go in this way on top, just like that. Nice and smooth, you see. Silly me, had that in the wrong way. There you go. See, I make mistakes so you don't have to. So that's on top there, and I need to hold this into place now with some DS19 screws. I do have a few of these, and these are metal, so they're going to go in a tiny bit of oil. And you can see the holes just on this side. This is where I'm going to start putting these. So let's get these in. They're going in quite deep in here. Put that one in. And I'm going to repeat that with the other 3 holes. Now, how good does that engine look at the moment? That's looking brilliant. Okay, I want to turn this upside down now, just like that. And I want to be putting 2 screws into the underside here. This is going to hold the top out. Now, you remember that bracket that I put in the wrong way around? The holes are actually in that bracket. So I need to go right through this square here and then screw them in from this side like this. Perfect. Now, there is 2 of these to put into place. So here's the second one. Perfect. That's quite tricky actually, because it's hard to see inside there. But that's going to ensure that that top doesn't come off. We've got this pipe now to put on. So let me just turn this back over. Again, keep these HT leads just going off in this direction. And this side of the pipe is going onto the gold section just here, which you might be able to see on the top camera. Just like that. And then the other side of this, if I just turn this upside down, it's going to be going onto this section just here. So you need to poke it through. And then this is going to be fun. I'm going to try and get it onto that nipple just there. Just move some stuff out of the way. There you go. And it clips in just like that. I think my top one's just come out. I have to put that back in. Now, this isn't going to move, so I am going to put some glue on this. That's perfect. So now, get that in there. Excellent. There we go. That's that pipe in, just like that. The last pipe to put in looks like this. One side, which is a female, is going to go over the nipple just at the front there. And the other side's going to be going down the engine here. So what I'm going to do is just feed that through here, probably again best on the top camera, just so I can get that in. So it's coming out of this side over here, just like that. Now, we haven't put the sump in at the moment, but that is all there is to do in that stage. So this is stage 98. Here's the instructions. And oh god, look, we're doing the ignition coil, and it looks like we've got spark plug wire here. Okay, so we're going to be putting all of this into place here, putting the spark plugs in, adding these to the wires here, and then we do get to mount this onto the vehicle. This is going to be a bit crazy this stage, and this is the rest of the instructions. So getting me sprue cutters ready, open this, and I'll get everything out, and I am just going to take off all of these from the sprue. Now, just getting the last ones off. When we cut this off, just make sure that you have cut off the bottom section like that and left enough on the top section to have a nipple there, as you can see. Right, we're going to make the ignition coil first. So first thing I need, this section here and this yellow section, which is going to be going onto the inside just like that. Then I'm going to be closing that off by putting the other side on here. That will hold that into place, as you can see. And I'm holding that in together with a PS05 screw. Just get that in there. Now, with the nipple just at the top here, I've got this pipe to put in, which seems to be holding itself fine in there. Bring over the engine again, and then this is going to clip into the hole that you can probably see just here. So just line that up and push it in. Perfect. Now, I'm just going to need my magnifying glasses for this and turn the light on, because I want to connect this to the free end of the plug in the center of the distributor there. Just like that. Now I've got these wire tidies to put in. These are going into the slots just on the side here. So one this side and one on the other side. They're looking good. And what I want to do then is all of these wires that are coming out the sides here, I want to trace them into those wire tidies. So just ensure the longer ones are going on this left side here, shorter one in the centre. And push them down. I do have a good tool for that, this plastic tool here. This was one of Mike Lane's tools for doing the carpets on cars. As you can see, it makes short work of this without crimping the wire. There you go, that's one side. Do the same on the other side here. Again, just ensuring that the longer wire is the one that goes onto the port furthest over here. That's made that tidy. And then it's a case of putting these sparks on. So we put one end into the spark here, or the head of the spark plug, just like that. And then this clips into the hole just here. Nice, calm, easy way to do spark plugs. Matter of fact, this is so calm and relaxing that I am actually finding this quite enjoyable. Normally I'm stressing big time when I'm doing pipes and HT leads and spark plugs and the like. I suppose the fact that they are so big is making this easy as well. But there we go, that's one side in. Looks nice and tidy as well. Just do exactly the same on the other side. And there you go, as you can see, all in that side and all in that side. This engine's so heavy. Okay, let's clear everything off because I'm going to be bringing up the chassis. Now, you know what makes me laugh? In stage 19, I was meant to put the sump on. So I'm going to do that now because I forgot. Basically, we've got this end here is going into that nipple, which means a DS19 screw is going into here. I wonder why I had a screw left over. I don't know how I missed that. So I've just got a DS19 screw here. Get that on nice and tight. Perfect. And now I'm in a case where I can actually now put this on. I don't think I've missed anything else out. This bell housing is going to go onto the two holes here. As you see, we're going to be putting some screws in here. But these exhausts need to go onto the exhausts here, or the manifolds. So let's link them up. And it should hopefully just slip into place. Make sure they're all lined up. Wow, it did. Look at that. How easy that went in. DS20, I believe, screws going in here. DS02 screws, sorry, going in here. So one this side. Get that all the way in. Perfect. And then one just this side here. That was a pleasure to put that in. And with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. You know what, I'm a little boy sometimes. I was so eager to get that engine in there, I completely forgot to put the sump on. But I'm going to give you an idea now of how big this is, because the engine is in place, looking like that. And this is what a 1/6 scale car looks like. It's ginormous. But I really enjoyed that. And I'm hoping that's probably the fiddly bits done now. Obviously, we've got to put the engine bay in and the firewall, which I think that normally gets hard when we have to put all of the leads in there. That's really heavy as well. That's why I'm out of breath. Anyway, I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.